How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, to talk about the Yankees winning another series. Not only doing that, but sweeping the Texas Rangers in 3 games. So I combined the final 2 games because today's game was an early start. It was 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, so I figured I'd just put them all together. Also because this game, the final game, there wasn't a lot of stuff to talk about, really. There wasn't a lot of scoring. There was great pitching by the Yankees, by Carlos Rodon and the Yankees bullpen. And yeah, so we're combining both. So let's get into last night's game, which I think is a candidate for one of the best wins of the season for the Yankees. And that's coming off of the game on Sunday in the Subway Series. That's up there. This game as well, because in the final 2 games of this series, the Yankees saw very good pitching between Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. So they saw Jacob deGrom last night. I know I brought this up the other night, but it is really great to see Jacob deGrom back out there and pitching very well because of all the injuries that he's gone through. And, people kind of forget, at least I think some people do, that he was one of the best pitchers in baseball before he got hurt. And now that he's back out there and he's pitching well, you are reminded of that. And this was the kind of game where you could see the Yankees playing this type of baseball, this type of game with another team in the postseason, where you're going up against very good pitching and you're going to have to keep it close, rely on your pitching staff to keep it close. So if your offense is not getting it done, in the later innings, you have some of your guys get to the bullpen and you're able to, steal a win. And that's what the Yankees did last night. So they got things going in the second inning. Anthony Volpe hit a triple out to center field. Sam Haggerty, who's made some nice plays in this series, he wasn't able to catch this ball. Volpe was able to get to third on that. And then DJ LeMahieu hit a ground out, and Volpe scored on that. The Rangers scored in the top of the 5th inning. Jake Berger hit a home run. He had a couple of home runs in this game last night. That was off of Ryan Yarbrough, who did a very nice job pitching. Since he's been put into the rotation, he has done a nice job, but that was really his only mistake on the night. And then we take things to the top of the 7th, and the Yankees pitching gave up a couple of homers. You had Ian Hamilton giving up a home run. You also had Tim Hill giving up a home run before that. He gave up a home run to Jake Berger. That was his second homer of the night. And then Ian Hamilton came in, and he gave up a home run. That was to Sam Haggerty to make it 3-1. And you figured at that point, with deGrom pitching as well as he has, that the Yankees were probably going to lose this game. So then in the bottom of the 7th, Bellinger got to deGrom. He hits a home run, extends his hitting streak, which unfortunately did end today in the final game. But he hit his eighth home run of the season to make it 3-2. And then we go to the top of the 8th. And what was interesting with this game last night is, and we later found out why, but Aaron Boone was sticking with, some of these, lesser relievers. We weren't seeing Fernando Cruz, and many people were saying, why is that the case? Well, turns out Fernando Cruz is dealing with a bit of a shoulder injury, and he got placed on the IL, but might not be for that long. He's hopefully going to come back after the, 10, 15 days are up. But, Yerry De Los Santos, Boone stuck with him. There was traffic on the bases, but, he was able to get out of it. And then we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Paul Goldschmidt, who didn't start in the game last night, he came in. He walks. Trent Grisham walks. And then Aaron Judge comes up in a big spot. And there are some people out there that, are calling him out for not coming up in the clutch in big situations. Well, he did. He hits a single to left field. That scores Goldschmidt. And Trent Grisham, thankfully, he's going to third. And he gets tagged out. But he gets tagged out after Paul Goldschmidt scores. So he starts to get into a rundown. He gets tagged down, and Goldschmidt is able to score. So that was heads-up base running by Trent Grisham. And then Luke Weaver had to come in the 9th inning because, again, Yerry De Los Santos, they stuck with him. And Luke Weaver got out of the inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th, Cody Bellinger came up. He grounded out. And then Jason Dominguez, on a hanging slider, hits a walk-off home run. The first walk-off home run for the Yankees in 3 years, almost. The last time the Yankees hit a walk-off home run was Giancarlo Stanton's grand slam against the Pirates back in 2022. That was the night that Aaron Judge hit his 60th home run. And you knew it was gone right away when he hit that. And he was so excited about it. He's never hit a walk-off home run before. And, you just love to see it from Dominguez. As, has he been spectacular this year with the bat? I mean, from the left side, he's been very good. But he continues to produce. And look, we want this guy to have a big year. He's going to be a big part of what the Yankees do. And, it was just exciting to see a walk-off homer. I mean, we haven't seen it in a while. But that was a big win, and like I said, that's a game you might see in the playoffs where you're playing against a very good pitcher. Your offense is struggling a bit. The Yankees struck out 10 times last night. Judge actually just missed a homer. He got underneath it. Well, he didn't just miss it, but he just got underneath it where he couldn't really drive the ball, and him and DeGrom had a little friendly exchange there on that. They were both laughing at each other, and Judge showed some admiration for DeGrom after the game, saying he loves to go against the best of the best. And I'm sure that DeGrom probably feels the same way as well. But yeah, no, the Yankees bats, they struggled, but they were able to come back. And earlier in the season, we were talking about how the Yankees really didn't show a lot of fight. They go down early in a game. It doesn't look like they're going to come back. But you see lately, these last couple of weeks, they're never out of a game. If they're in a close game, you can't count them out. And I think that's also because you got guys in the lineup that are starting to wake up. Bellinger's been playing really well. The young guys have come through. Dominguez, of course, with the walk-off hit last night. Paul Goldschmidt. How many times when Paul Goldschmidt, has to come in as a pinch hitter, we saw in Seattle, he had a pinch hit home run. He comes in, he gets the inning started with a walk. Then Grisham walks, and then Judge gets the base hit to drive him in. So if the Yankees are in a close game, you can't count them out. You cannot count them out. And the pitching continues to impress, and we saw that carry over into the game today. Now, there wasn't a lot of scoring. There was only one run in this game, and that was courtesy of Yorbit Vivas, who hit his first career home run in the bottom of the fifth inning off of Nathan Eovaldi, who had it working today. He went 6 innings. One earned run, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. But yeah, the Yankees really couldn't get anything going. They had 7 strikeouts. Cody Bellinger, like I said, his hitting streak came to an end, but that's okay. But yeah, Carlos Rodon, he continues to pitch well. His ERA is at 2.88 now. He is 6-3 on the season. Mark Leiter Jr. pitched a clean inning. Devin Williams continues to pitch well. Now his ERA is down to 6.5. And Luke Weaver came in and picked up the save, and his ERA is 0.4. That was his 7th save on the season. But yeah, not really much to take away from the game other than the fact that the pitching once again was very good. And the Yankees did just enough. Yorbit Vivas, he came in today, hit a home run, and he's going to remember that forever. I like what I see out of him. I know in some of the other podcasts I talked about how some of the games he was having some rough at-bats, but we saw what he did on Sunday, that at-bat against Stanek against the Mets. And you know what? The Yankees might have something with him, you would hope. Right now, there's not really a spot for him at the moment. I was going to say once guys start coming back. But, I mean, you got some older players on this team, like DJ, and who knows how long, he's going to last. He didn't pick up a hit today, although he got robbed of a hit last night by Adolis Garcia, who made a nice play in the outfield. But, yeah, I feel like he could maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, maybe he fits in somewhere here on the infield. You got him, and Peraza's playing good defense as well. You just wish that, he would get it going more with the bat. But, yeah, no, you got to like what you see out of Vivas, in recent days here. But that was a good series win for the Yankees. And, like I said, the middle game, it's a candidate for best win of the year with Jason Dominguez hitting the walk-off homer. But now we shift our focus to the Colorado Rockies, who are the worst team in baseball right now. They have 8 wins. I think they're 8-41 on the season. The Yankees got to sweep them. And I think Yes showed it on the broadcast. They're on pace for 26 wins. So if the Yankees don't sweep them, I mean, I don't know what to say. You got to sweep them. They're playing good baseball. They got Max Fried and Clark Schmidt going in this series. Will Warren pitches the game on Sunday. I mean, the Rockies are not hitting. They're not pitching well. The Yankees should get it done. This is not going to be like a couple of years ago in 2023. The Yankees were coming out of the All-Star break and they weren't playing good baseball and they needed to get things right in Colorado. Sean Casey became the hitting coach. So, yeah, the Yankees should sweep them. They're playing really well. Now they're 11 games over 500. They're 30-19 on the season. So everything is all good in Yankee land right now. I thought it was going to be a very good night in New York sports last night because you had the Yankees winning in walk-off fashion. The Mets have been kind of scuffling as of late. They picked up a win last night. And one quick thing on the Mets. They did win, but I'm going to bring this up. I was watching it because I was waiting for the Knicks game to come on, and I watched one of Soto's at-bats, and against Garrett Crochet, it was non-competitive. 3 pitches right down the middle, basically, and he didn't swing. He didn't pick the bat off his shoulder. I couldn't believe it. But I don't want to dive more into that. But the Mets did win. I just could not believe it. I was like, what happened? What happened to this guy? But yeah, I thought this was going to be a great night in New York baseball, but in terms of New York sports as a whole, it was not. Because we're not going to get to it today. We're going to recap it tomorrow with Ben. But the Knicks had an epic collapse last night in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And I had that on at the same time as I was watching the Yankee game, so I saw Dominguez hit the walk-off homer. I'm like, all right, that's one game out of the way. Now the Knicks got to close this out. I mean, I could not believe what I watched last night. But we will talk about it tomorrow. So make sure to tune in for that. But it was a good series once again for the Yankees getting the sweep of the Rangers. And, going into this series, I didn't know I didn't know if the Yankees were going to be able to, well, I definitely thought they could win the series, but I just thought with the pitching matchups, I thought that maybe the Rangers would take the series potentially, but that didn't happen. Now the Rangers could have. It's just they couldn't hit. I mean, they lost the game today 1-0. They couldn't hit. They couldn't get anything going against Carlos Rodon. And then they couldn't get anything going against Yarborough. I mean, Ian Hamilton has not pitched well, and Tim Hill at times hasn't been good either. So, they got a couple of home runs off of them. And even in the first game, Jonah Heim hits that home run off of Ian Hamilton. So, it's because they're going up against these lesser relievers. They're getting runs, but Rangers really didn't hit. And this was a team that I actually picked to go to the World Series because of their lineup. Now, maybe when they get Corey Seager back, that's going to help. But, we talked about this. You look at some of the guys in the lineup. They're just not producing. I mean, Adolis Garcia, postseason hero from a couple of years ago. He's not really hitting. You got a couple of guys that are batting in the hundreds. It's not good. It's not good. But the one thing they have going for them is they have the pitching, so that keeps them in games. But, yeah, they got some issues. And I didn't bring this up, but they fired their hitting coach, and they hired Aaron Boone's brother, Brett Boone, to be the hitting coach. But it doesn't seem like it's really doing anything right now. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, though, about this series. Again, really exciting to see the Yankees hit a walk-off homer for the first time in a while. And now, like I said, their focus is going to be on the Colorado Rockies. So hopefully they get a sweep there. And then you got the Dodgers coming up next week. So the World Series rematch out in L.A., which excited for, although it's going to give you flashbacks to October and not the good kind. But, yeah, looking forward to that. And, right now, for the Yankees, get the sweep of the Rockies, and then we'll worry about that. But make sure to look out for the Knicks recap that'll come out tomorrow. That'll be with me and Ben to recap the disaster that was Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And make sure to check out all the other videos on the channel as well. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to go follow us on TikTok and wherever you get your podcasts if you want to listen to us on the go. So as always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off. Have a good one, and I will talk to you guys next time. Take care.